Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen, and thank the heavens above, Premier League football is back, and that means one thing: Leicester City are back. We are in action against Newcastle United tomorrow. The game is going to be a bit of a difficult one. I'm going to talk about it in a few of these things. Obviously, the last time we played them was the back end of last season, where we overtook them and kind of looked like we would end up surviving because we didn't think Newcastle would end up ahead of us. But tomorrow is going to be a bit of a different game. Newcastle obviously have got off to a poor start this season. We've got off to a really good start. Will Jamie Vardy start? All this stuff I'm going to talk about now in this video. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, just quickly on this show, I'll put it in little segments now, so hopefully it should be split up, and you'll see what I mean in a minute when I do them. But the first segment we're going to do is your Leicester City side. Yes, this is our first segment on the show, and we're going to do your Leicester City side. It's just basically what I think is going to happen with the team tomorrow, who's going to play, and what might happen on that front. So we know away from home this season, Ranieri hasn't really changed too much. He's not gone too defensive. He did in one game against Bournemouth, and it didn't really work out for us. So I can't see him just playing with one striker and setting on his laurels and kind of doing that. I think he'll go for it. I think he'll kind of still play that attacking, fluid style of football that we play. So I expect to see Mahrez playing. Obviously, Vardy's the big concern. Will Vardy play because he's got this injury? Obviously ruled him out of the two England internationals, marred obviously by the atrocities happening in Paris and around the world, and obviously our thoughts go out to those people. But with Vardy, obviously was ruled out of those games. So when he kind of comes into this game, the record's the big thing. I think no matter what happens, if he's 75% or if he's 50% or if he's 100%, I think Jamie Vardy will start tomorrow against Newcastle. I think that's purely because of that record. I know Ranieri has said we don't want someone to play for a game and then get injured for a month and kind of lose them, but Vardy's chasing a record here, and if he breaks it, it's massive. I mean, it's not just like he's playing another Premier League game after scoring a few goals in a row. This is to equal the record for all-time Premier League goals in a row. So, like I said, it's not just a case of any old game where if he misses one game, then at least he can play the rest of them. This is his most important game of his career, arguably, and if he does play, there is going to be significant pressure on Jamie. I mean, of course, all this run, people have been saying, well, he won't do it the next game, and then it's kind of been, oh, well, he's to keep scoring, or he must do it the next game, and now it's, can he do it? I mean, this is the first time where people really, on this day, will be looking, one of the big talking points and major stories of the day will be, can Jamie Vardy score in 10 consecutive Premier League games? I mean, I hope and pray to whatever God or whatever you believe in that is up there that Jamie Vardy can score 10 in a row. It would be an unbelievable achievement, not just for Jamie, but for this club. I'm sure Nigel Pearson will be thrilled about it after bringing Vardy to the club, but for the owners, it will be a brilliant achievement. Just for everyone to have this stat that's lasted quite a while with one of the most prolific Premier League goal scorers and world goal scorers of all time, for Jamie Vardy to equal him and then to maybe even go ahead of him when we play Man United, ironically, would just be phenomenal. But on our team, I do think Vardy will play, like I said. I think Okazaki did well when he came on what seems like an age ago now in our last outing, but I think we're going to go with what we played last time. I think Mahrez will play. I mentioned in my video last time, Mahrez is really good when he's got fullbacks that he can exploit, and I do think Newcastle do have fullbacks he can exploit, but I think they've got centre-halves that he can exploit as well. So I play him down the middle, and then I'm playing Albrighton on one wing, I play Schlupp on the other one, the two central midfielders of Conte and Drinkwater, who've been absolutely outstanding. Superlatives can't put into words how good they've been this season, especially Conte. He's been our most underrated player by a country mile, and I hope it stays that way, to be honest, so he stays off the radar of the big teams. But Conte and Drinkwater will be in that middle. At the back, I expect same as Simpson at right back, Christian Fuchs at left back, two centre-halves of Morgan and Hoof, and obviously Morgan landed, I think yesterday was it, back from international duty, so it's not like he should worry though. He played a lot of games over the summer and was fine for us. And then Schmeichel in goal. So we had a lot of players feature in international duty. Just quickly run through a few of them. Obviously Kasper Schmeichel, one of the big ones, failed to qualify for the European Championships with Denmark purely because of the brilliance of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Morgan obviously played for Jamaica. Schlupp was out on Ghanaian duty, but I don't think he played. Mahrez played for Algeria, scoring a goal against Tanzania in a 7-0 rout, and they drew the other game surprisingly against Tanzania. Vardy obviously didn't feature at all for England. Fuchs played for Austria, obviously he's the captain, played against Gökhan Inler actually for Switzerland, and it's just good to have all these internationals in our team now. And I know you worry about injuries and stuff when we're out on international duty, but I think it's so important that we preserve these players and let them go off and play this international duty so the world can kind of see their talent and they can get game time under their feet. You don't just want to be training for 2 more weeks. I know it might help some teams, but personally I think it's really good for these players to go out on international duty. So that's what I think is going to be the Leicester City team for tomorrow. Ranieri this season, I mentioned with my dad actually the other day that he's the first manager since O'Neill who I feel picks the team the fans want picked. I mean, if you ask the majority of fans what team you want picked, Ranieri almost always gets it kind of spot on or close, and then with his substitutions he usually gets them bang on as well. So I expect him to do the same tomorrow, carry on in the same vein of form I suppose with his managerial style and keep picking that team that the fans want him to pick. There'll be no surprises in there, I don't think. But my biggest surprise obviously this season was when Mahrez got dropped, but then it paid off. So I don't think that there'll be too many surprises in this team sheet. I think it'll be same as the last game, and as Ranieri says, keep this brilliant flow going. We only need 15 more points now to reach that 40-point target that he set at the start of the season and that every club sets at the start of the season. So the sooner we can get there, the better. I mean, think about it, if we win at the weekend, we might only be 12 points away from that, and that's completely phenomenal. But moving on to the next segment of the show now, and it's away side. So on this one, obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory. We're going to be talking about the team that we play against, not necessarily their away, but the opposition, basically. So the opposition in this game, Newcastle United. 2 wins all season. Obviously, they had 1 big win and another win under their belt. 1 at home, 1 away from home. Only on 10 points in the table, really struggling under Steve McLaren. So, yeah, sorry about the poor Dutch accent, man, but then again, so was McLaren, so I was pretty spot on. But yeah, I mean, Newcastle, we know they're lingering down the bottom of the table. They haven't been brilliant since Pardew left them. Carver obviously took them further and further into the doldrums of football and nearly got them down into the Championship. McLaren came in from Derby, so you can mute that if you didn't want to hear the words Derby there. But yes, he came in from Derby. Obviously, a really poor end to the end of the season with Derby. He's come in, not really done too well with Newcastle. And it's not just the fact that McLaren's been poor. I think a lot of their new signings haven't been brilliant. Obviously, Wijnaldum's their top goal scorer this season, but he did get a hat-trick in a game, so it's kind of balances itself out on that. On is he playing really well, or did he just play well for 1 game? It's almost distorted the stats, kind of like Aguero when he got 5 goals in a game. So Wijnaldum, I think, has done well. I think he's been their best signing of the summer. There's been certain people like Bemba at the back who haven't settled in maybe as well as Newcastle fans would like. There have been people like Mitrovic who is starting to look like something, but obviously his discipline and his maturity comes into question every time he takes a step onto the field. I mean, his goal scoring's not been brilliant so far. He obviously against Man United he did well, but he hasn't been like prolific yet. Scored against Man City. Obviously Newcastle got absolutely battered in that game. But I don't think Newcastle are a brilliant team, but we always seem to struggle away at Newcastle. I don't know what it is. Last season, obviously, we lost to a goal by Gabriel Oberton, which is the biggest sin possible in football. But some of Leicester's worst memories happen against Newcastle. Obviously, I remember the worst ever, the 3-1 up, and then Shearer scored a hat-trick against us 15 minutes to go. And what was that, 99, 2000, 98, 97, one of those years. Under O'Neill, and that was awful. Obviously losing that game when you're 3-1 up in the second half, and I think it was only that United game last season that it was like one of the few that had happened when you were 3-1 up and ended up losing. But anyway, Newcastle always seem a difficult place to go and play football. I mean, we always seem to struggle when we go there. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's the altitude of the fans sitting in the stand that they can't hear them when the players are running, but who knows what it is. But in this game, I do still think we are going to win. I mean, my prediction is blurred out at the moment, so you can't see, but it should pop up now. It's 2-1 I'm going to predict for this game. Newcastle have got players who can cause us problems, don't get me wrong, but they've got too many players who won't cause us problems. I think that's the point. People like off the bench from Gorku won't cause us too many problems. Sissoko, I know he's got a few assists this season, but I can't see him causing us too many problems. Cisse doesn't really cause many problems, so I expect us to win this game purely because I don't think Newcastle have enough in their locker to unlock our back four and cause us major problems. Mitrovic might have the breakout game, I guess, for him this season, but I can't see it happening. And moving on to the final segment on this show, it's key battle. You can see in the bottom corner, I've gone for the key battle of Vardy against Elliott. Now, I know both these players kind of were injured and not really sure, but I've still gone for it because I think Vardy will play and I think Elliott will play. Elliott, his last outing was brilliant against Bournemouth, kept everything out of his net, wouldn't let anything go past him, and Vardy obviously is on this unbelievable run, so that's my key battle for tomorrow. Can Vardy keep his run going and probably lead us to victory, or can Elliott keep Vardy out and probably keep the rest of our team out as well? That's how not reliant we are on Vardy's goals, but how kind of important they are for us so far in this season. That is my key battle for tomorrow. Hopefully Vardy can win it. I mean, hopefully he can win that battle and score past Elliott, and even if he doesn't, if other players can score past him and we still get this win, then it'll be a brilliant day out. Newcastle is always a good day out for the fans, so I expect it to be a good day out. Just quickly, I've got a away days section I forgot about. This is just our last section now on this show. Just quickly, some information for fans going up to Newcastle. Weather tomorrow is meant to be alright. It's meant to be about 4 or 5 degrees though, so not warm, but it is in the middle of November. But it shouldn't be too much rain in the afternoon. Obviously, the fans will be high up. And also, I've left a link in the description for kind of bars and stuff in the local area for people to go and visit. Obviously, that's just going to be it for this little away day section. I'm just going to leave kind of information in the description basically about going to Newcastle, pubs around there that might show early games and stuff, just so all you fans travelling there tomorrow stay safe and have a good time and hopefully come back with a Leicester City victory under the belt. But that is all for this preview. Obviously I'll have a review of it straight after the game tomorrow when, as I say, Leicester will get another 3 points. You know, we could even leapfrog Arsenal and Manchester City. We could be top of the Premier League table in the middle of November. And if it is, I'll come on here and I'll pinch myself as hard as I can, because it will be unbelievable if we go top tomorrow. Newcastle obviously are in poor form, so it's not a difficult game, but it's difficult because of the terms of kind of, well, you know, in recent years and in history we haven't done brilliantly away to Newcastle. So please leave comments down below, let me know what you think the score will be. Also leave a comment down below, let me know what you think of all the new setup and the new segments of the show. I just can get pieces together nicer and this layout looks a lot nicer. But let me know down below. Please like the video if you liked the video basically, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.